A woman is killed every 2.5 hours in South Africa, and the women of South Africa are saying enough is enough. They are demanding that gender based violence and femicide be declared a national disaster. Let's talk about it. There is a war against the women and children of South Africa, and it's quite literally impossible to stay quiet anymore. This has become a crisis, and the women of South Africa are saying enough is enough. The numbers are horrifying. So when I looked at it and I saw that between April 2023 to March 2024, 5,578 women were murdered. That is 15 women a day. And on top of that, 1,600 children were killed within that period. And to make this even crazier, there's a shocking 42,569 reported rapes within that period. And bearing in mind, 95% of rape cases do not get reported. So 42,569 is 5% of the rape cases in South Africa. Those numbers are horrifying. And I have come across so many stories. I've come across so many women, mothers crying and telling their stories of like what happened to them, what happened to their children, how they found their child dead, how the child was missing, and to today they don't know what happened. I'm gonna share some of them with you. I warn you ahead, there's the trigger warning, because if you don't want to hear about rape, if you don't want to hear about the death of somebody, don't watch this.
My name is Whitney. I am the little sister of Nonkululeko Gabriela Luenza Ndaba. My sister went missing on the 26th of May 2023. She went for a walk, which was a very normal part of her daily life. And she was very consistent about her walks. She was just in control of her own time, you know. I'm just trying to emphasize how valuable this moment in her day was. We had spoken that afternoon, so she let me know, like, I'm going to go for my walk now. She said she was going to pass by someone that we know. At around 10 o'clock, that's when my family contacted me. So for them to call me at 10 o'clock at night, it's not normal. Gut just dropped. It was so late, and it was just the beginning of winter. It was cold. That year it snowed. So I tried to keep myself together, and I told my father what I know. And immediately we went straight to the area where she was going to go see that lady. She confirmed that she saw her, but it was a very short encounter, and she went on her way. From that moment, I just knew, time stood still. For the next 7 days, we walked up and down asking people. We just didn't know what to do. After midnight, we decided there's not much we can do now in the evening. It's so dark. I wish I could describe that feeling of helplessness and feeling like I need to go get rest so that in a few hours I can continue looking for her. The police, they didn't care. It was like a nuisance that they were coming to bother them with this information. When I'm telling you to your face, this is not normal behavior for this grown woman. None of this information meant anything to the police. My father had called my partner at the time and told him that we found Gabby. I could just tell it wasn't good, but in my mind I still kept the possibility that she's alive. She's just not in a good way. We're coming over the robot and I see all these people, and I see my mother in her gown, and I see my father, and I see them screaming. There were people standing over my sister's body who I don't know, who were keeping me from looking at my sister. We haven't been able to grieve Gabby's death because we don't know what happened to her. To not know what happened, it's torture.
This truly breaks my heart. And this is not a one-off story. This is the story of countless sisters and mothers, and saying, my daughter, my sister went out one day and they found her dead. Countless of women This is their story. It's almost like the government and the police have become desensitized to these stories. Countless times that this woman said, we went to the police, we went there to beg for help, to please investigate, and we were dismissed over and over. This exact stories about how the police do not take these cases seriously. I'm going to play a video for you of men that are completely desensitized to rape. Again, this may trigger you. Please don't watch this. If you know this kind of things would trigger you, don't watch it.
It's kind of like a demon. So some of us don't have girlfriends. Some of us end up having rape cases. You know, some of us end up having.
So what? You girls?
Some of us, yeah, some of us.
Do you know how many times you've done that? How many times you've girls?
I did it maybe 2 or 3 times.
I did it once.
I did it 4 times.
Did it once.
Yeah, because a lot of times I work with him. Yeah, he's a friend. You know, I'm with him all the time. You know.
How do you go about doing it? A bunch of you push her into a corner, or?
No, we do it much simpler. You know, one of us pretends as if he's a nice guy. He wants to get her number or something, and you would grab her and say, "Hey, shut up."
Surely she shouts, no?
No, we tell him that.
We make sure
when
that she doesn't.
When you scream, we tell him that when you scream, we're gonna kill.
Yeah, and she sees you with a knife or something, anything that is a weapon, she will stay still. She will never scream. He grabs the legs, no, both of the legs. I grab the hands, and then he deals with the clothes, you know. Yeah, and then we go one by one. We call it jack rolling, you know. Yeah, exactly, because you kind of jack her, you know, and then you roll her, you know. Yeah, it's jack rolling, you know. You jack her and then you put her on the floor. Yeah. We would say, guys, come on, let's do this fast, guys. Yeah, you enjoying it, huh? And we would like beat our hands, you know, high five. What's it? You know, yeah, we're doing it. Let's do this. Yeah, you know, kind of like we're happy for a moment, you know. But after we're done doing that, okay, we're done, guys. Let's go.
Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be raped, you see. She also grabs you, you see, no
It's
more
like
crying.
she's enjoying it, you know,
see.
even though she isn't, but it's like she's enjoying it.
Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right to?
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
What about the consequences of what you're doing in terms of how that affects
Exactly.
the person that's?
Yeah, the consequences, we look at that all the time, you know, because it happens, she might scream, you know, people might wake up. A lot of people, especially.
I'm not just talking about. I'm talking about the emotional effect, the physical effect it has on the
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. Sometimes we know that we might rape her and wake up tomorrow with viruses ourselves, like HIV, you know.
What about regretting what you've done to the girl?
I also do regret about it, because if she fell pregnant, what will be that baby's father? Who will be that baby's father?
But what about her personal feelings?
It's simple, you know.
Well, no,
it's
because
simple.
you're effectively, aren't you doing something that's hurting another human being?
Yeah, you know, like he said at first, when you do something like that, you don't think about what might happen after. You don't think about the consequences, you know. You just think about what is happening now.
What shocked me, forget the drugs, what shocked me more than anything was just their casual attitude to talking about gang a woman. The way that they could talk about it as if they were talking about going to a football match.
That was hard to watch because these are people that have somehow normalized the idea of raping women and children in some cases. And they're walking freely. 2 of these men that were interviewed had already been to jail for sexual, for this crime related to sex. But they out freely. And countless of rapists walk around freely in South Africa. They arrest them for a little bit, and then after a few months, they're back on the streets. But the problem here is not, the problem here is beyond arresting them and releasing them, because arresting somebody that truly thinks raping somebody is not a problem, then that arresting them does nothing, because their mind truly believes that there is nothing wrong in what they're doing. So they will go back out and do it again to more women and more children. And this is what the women of South Africa are begging the government for, to say this is a disaster. In response to this horrific thing that's happening right now in the country, the women of South Africa have decided to protest. And so there's going to be a global shutdown, which is called the G20 Women's Shutdown, which is happening on the 21st of November. It is essentially where every woman in South Africa and people in the LGBT community come together and they refuse to work. They don't go to work. They don't go to school. They refuse to do household chores and spend anything or even withdraw cash on that day, on the 21st of November. It is to send a message to the South African government to say this is a national crisis. This whole gender-based violence and femicide is a national crisis, and it needs to be looked at urgently. And they've done this in line with the G20 summit that's coming up the same month. Heads of state and governments in different countries will be coming together to have to just have a discussion about like economy, health, climate change, and all that stuff. And so they want this issue to be something that is on top of the agenda for that summit. So you may think, what do they really want? What is the end goal for all of this? For the protests, what do the women of South Africa really want? And why are they protesting this? What would be the end goal? If they do declare this as a natural crisis, what do they aim to achieve? Okay, so number one thing is no more slap on the wrist. So right now, I think the police obviously don't take this seriously. And when it does go to court or whatever level it gets to, it's always usually a slap on the wrist. A lot of these rapists, a lot of these murderers walk away free, and the women are saying enough is enough. There has to be legit consequences. So people that are convicted for rape, there's no more bail. Like there's no way you can get a bail. Right now there's a bail on them, they pay the bail and they walk free. There's actual consequences. People that commit murder, there's no room for parole or like give them 2-3 years in prison. There's lifetime imprisonment and with no room for parole. Those are the things that they want. They want the police system to be trained and to also be held accountable for misconduct. So if you do report a rape case to police, to police, or murder, or something along this line that is related to gender-based violence or femicide, and it's not taken seriously, they have to be held accountable. Police officers, social workers, healthcare workers, whatever person that you report this to, any misconduct, there has to be consequences for it. There has to be also education where kids are being educated in school about consent, about gender-based violence, about femicide, and it is something that is constantly made aware, that people are made aware of in South Africa. They are constantly teaching and educating not just children, people of South Africa, what this means, informing them, because a lot, like you see the men that are just walking around, they don't know that this is actually violence against women. Education, and there's so many other things that they're asking for, but these are the main things and stuff. And funding, give us money so we can fund this initiative of especially awareness, education, of all these things. Give us enough money to fund this. This is what they are asking for, which I really don't think they're asking for too much. They're really asking for really the basics here. And you may wonder, how can I support these people? I'm in the UK, I'm in a different country. How can I support them? You may have seen on your social media where people are changing their profile pictures to purple. You will see on my profile pictures as well on my social media and even on YouTube, I've changed my profile to purple. This is a way to show that you are standing behind the women of South Africa in this terrible times they're going through, and you are behind them in this protest. You can also sign a petition. I will put the link in the description below. You can sign the petition. The petition needs to be, I think, 1 million or over in order for it to be considered. It's already been rejected once, and now we're doing it again to get to 1 million and over. And most importantly, I am calling upon Christians to pray for the people of South Africa, to pray for the women of South Africa. If a part of the body is suffering, we are all suffering. 1 Corinthians 12:26 says, if one part of the body suffers, we all suffer. suffer. So this is not just a South African thing. This is a body of Christ that we Christians need to hold the women and children and the people of South Africa up in prayer. And we need to just not just hold them and tell God and ask God to protect them and just take away this evil that has somehow been normalized in that nation. But also we pray for this movement, that the impact that they want to make with this movement would in fact be made, and this will be declared, this situation, gender-based violence, GBV and femicide, will be declared a national disaster. So that is what I call Christians to do. Anyways, guys, what do you think about this whole matter? How will you be supporting? And have you come across any of these things on social media? Have you seen any of the stories of women saying how they've experienced violation and abuse from a man in South Africa? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I hope not only have you enjoyed this video, because this video really isn't about whether you enjoy it or not. I hope somehow this video will convince you to stand behind the people of South Africa and do whatever you can to spread the awareness and to support them by changing your profile picture to purple and signing that petition. I will see you in my next video, guys.